What's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm so excited because I'm going to be showing you my go-to full highlight application and technique along with detailed sectioning. Now the video that I'm going to show you is actually a video I did back in November or early December of 2021, and I've been sitting on it, so just chilling on my hard drive this entire time, and I haven't had time to edit it, and finally I got around to it. And it was also part of a salonery live that I did, so there is going to be one little chunk that's missing, but I'll explain everything to you. But nonetheless, you'll be able to see the entire sectioning of this full highlight, and I'm also going to show you my go-to technique for a base break and tone all at the same time. Now, a base break is basically a technique that is usually used in blondes, but it also can be used on brunettes as well, as a way to pigment shift the natural hair and then also diffuse the line between the natural hair into the highlighted pieces. So the technique that I'm going to show you today is perfect for someone who does want a little bit of pigment shift, a blend, a shadow route into a really gorgeous tone. So as I was editing this video, I realized I did not have an intro and outro for it. So here I am in the middle of the night recording an intro and an outro for this video because it's seriously been sitting on my hard drive for that long. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy this formula as well, because I think it's something you can definitely apply in the salon. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a video. Now let's get right into the video. So here is my model that I used for the Salonery Live. If you don't know what Salonery is, basically it is a online hair distributor, and no, this video is not sponsored by them, but I thought I would show you what this client looked like before I even got started. I think you can probably go on their website and check out the live as well, but you can already see she's a natural level 5, and I basically kept her parting right down the middle from the apex behind the ear, and then pre-sectioned her into a triangular section on that top, and then used the occipital with a slight diagonal going down. For my formula, I am using Beyond Bond Lightener at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 20 volume developer, and then I'm also using Nourishing Mask as well. Now, the reason why I really love this lightener is because she has that previous blonde going on. But as you can see on that underside, she actually has quite a bit of regrowth. So it's been about 12 weeks since she's highlighted the underside. And I have the Nourishing Mask there for little areas where I need to get some type of treatment on the ends as I'm working. That's what I'm applying on the end. So if you do see me add a brush stroke of something onto the blonde, it is the Nourishing Mask. So just kind of keep that in mind. So for this hairline highlight, I love using the head as my, basically like my table. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love doing this type of sectioning and this technique for a hairline highlight. But let's just hypothetically say you're going to do a partial highlight and you just want to do some hairline highlights on the back underside because your client wears her hair up. This is actually a really great go-to. Just do 2 back-to-back foils on each side and then just do 2 more right in the center just to kind of like marry it all together. And when I say back-to-back highlights, it typically means either no or little hair in between each of the foils, and typically each of these sections are about 1/8 of an inch thick, and then I just weave right on top of those. So like I mentioned, she has not gotten a full highlight in about 12 weeks, but that top section that we're going to work on a little bit later, she has a 6-week grow out. So we're going to address her highlights a little differently than we do in the back. Now, of course, since she has a wider grow out here, we are going to bring that lightener down just a little bit. So this kind of ties into why I like this lightener so much, because it has that dual bond technology. Now to get this technique started, I'm just going to finish up a few more horizontal weaves right here just to kind of get up a little bit higher, and then I'm going to transition back to diagonal. And the reason for that is because I like for the highlights to come in different directions, especially in the back. Now, this particular client does wear her hair a number of different ways as a hairstyle. Sometimes it's half up, half down. Maybe her pony is laying a little bit lower. So depending on how her hairstyle is, her underside and mid zone can definitely be exposed. So having really detailed highlights here in the back is important to her. So I try to make sure to put in as many foils as our time allows for our appointment without necessarily making it a full-on baby light. So from this point on, these subsections are about 1/4 of an inch wide or thick. So all of her hairline, they're all back to back, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And now I've migrated into making them 1/4 of an inch thick. Now, something to note is that I am pivoting as I move up. So that way, when I get to the top of my section, it's actually completely parallel with the pre-sectioning that I did. So this is really important because this is what's going to help make it look really beautiful and diffused throughout. So no matter how she wears her hair, you're really not going to be able to tell exactly where those highlights are coming from. Plus, my pivoting point is actually on the exterior. So think of it like little micro pizza slices. The very middle is slightly wider of a subsection versus the very edge of her hairline. The highlights are meeting a little bit closer with very little hair in between. So this gives the illusion of more of that back-to-back baby light along the hairline, but more of a traditional highlight in the interior. So I'm actually going to do the same thing to the other side. Now this sectioning right here, it's very, very subtle as far as the pivoting. Now, this is where I had to break for the Salonery Live, but you can see this pivot here. It's literally kind of fanning out, and then it gets horizontal towards the top. So it starts off diagonal, I get to a stopping point on the top, and then it just fans out. So I'm actually going to show you the exact sectioning, but right here on the side of her head. So again, to get this started right on her hairline, I'm going to be adding in 2 back-to-back highlights. So since the front is a little different, we don't need to bring that lightener all the way down because she only has a 6-week grow out here. I'm going to just kind of tap in that lightener right where it's needed and then put the nourishing mask for sure. So that way it helps the foil and the hair stick to the foil. So you just saw here that I pulled the hair completely straight up. There's literally no hair in between these 2 foils. The reason why is because I kind of want to give her a more bolder blonde in the front. She's always asking me for a money piece, and I really can't give her a money piece because she's so blonde throughout. But this is our little compromise here. Just basically add those 2 back-to-backs. And then from this point on is where I'm adding in a little bit of background, because in order for her blonde to pop, I do need a little bit of background going on. However, I am going to be adding in a base break for further blend. So from this point on, you're going to be able to see exactly how I pivot. I'm already starting to pivot now. And again, it's very, very subtle. So definitely pay attention as you watch this video. But basically the right side is going to be a little thicker of a section. And then the left side is going to be more of a thinner section. So it's creating a little mini triangle or pizza slice. So you can see I'm just taking a little slice right on top of my section and weaving right on top of that. And actually this was a really good piece because you can see a little pocket of dark on the right hand side, and that's the side that's thicker. So I just wanted to add more brightness, and I'm going to continue doing these little micro pizza slices as I get to the very top to where it hits that arch of the eyebrow area, and then it becomes horizontal. Now, you guys, this is literally my go-to kind of trade secret of a highlight technique. And this education is free. So I would so greatly appreciate if you would smash that like button and make sure you share my videos with a friend, because this is how I'm able to continue to make videos like these educational videos that can benefit you, save you time, add more money to your bottom line by literally providing you with so much great value in these free YouTube videos. So I definitely appreciate it so much. And to find out more about the different educational offerings that I do have, be sure to check out the description of this video and head on over to my website, morellamanelli.com. So right here, I just got to that very last section on the side, and you can see I'm finishing off horizontal. You can see that little bit of fanning motion kind of going on. Honestly, my clients are obsessed with how their highlights look when I do this pivotal type of application. So usually the pivot is very prominent on the sides of the head, and then it's also very prominent on the crown on that very top back, which you saw a little bit earlier. So for that very top section, the Mohawk section, I'm going to show you another added little tip that I love to make the most blended type of highlights. So to start it off, I'm just doing some more back-to-back highlights right here on this hairline that are horizontal. So that's really important to note. The horizontal is what's going to give the boldness that she's looking for out of that money piece. And you can even see this slice going on here. It's a very hard line. That's because she really likes a lot of blonde there, as most blondes do. Now, it's really hard to not overlap, right? Which is why I'm still using that Beyond Bond. I went ahead and mixed up a new batch of Lightener. I typically mix up about 2 to 3 bowls of Lightener, very small increments as I'm working up. So again, doing those back to back right here that are horizontal, and then I'm gonna go back onto the sides and finish off vertically. So vertically or horizontally, depending on exactly where you're standing, but I'm going to be standing on the side of her head, so that's going to be technically horizontal to me. However, my body position is going to be on the side of her. The reason why I chose to do the highlights this way is because when these fan over the side of her hair, it's going to create like this gorgeous veil of a baby light. So that's what I'm trying to emulate. If I went in with a traditional Mohawk section, when she splits her hair down the middle, what you're going to see are stripes. And in order to modernize it, I'm going to go in more vertically if I'm looking at my client in the face. But since I'm sitting on the side of her, horizontal, depending on the position where you're at. So keep that in mind when you are trying to figure out exactly where to place those foils. It's really important, the positioning of them and the sectioning. If you want to learn more about foil placement specifically, be sure to check out my 4 foil placements and the effects they create video right here on YouTube. The link will also be in the description of this video. So I went ahead and let her process. This is raw bleach right here. No toner yet. I went ahead and shampooed her, added a light conditioner to her ends, and now we're going to get ready for a base break. But this is a really gorgeous blend. Honestly, we could probably just barely tap it and she'd probably love it, but we're going to do a base break because she, like I said, had that 6 or 12 week grow out in the back. So I'm basically splitting her hair right down the center from the front all the way to the back, and this is what I decided to mix up for her base break. It's Studio Stylist Express 7A along with 8N, equal parts with 20 volume developer. So what this is going to do is give me 1 level of lift. It's also going to help diffuse that highlighted hair and line, and also give me a shadow root all at the same time. It's honestly the most gorgeous blend. Now, typically, Studio Stylist Express does process in 10 minutes, so it's a very quick acting permanent hair dye. So I don't mind taking my time with it because it is non-progressive. Most 10-minute colors are progressive, but I find that this is a nice steady pace. It doesn't give me anxiety whatsoever. Plus, I am applying this on damp hair, so it is a little diluted with the water added. So once I have the Studio Stylist Express applied, I'm then mixing up my Demi formula, which is 10A 1 to 2 with 9 volume developer. Now you saw I went section by section and actually used my Framar brush to brush that Studio Stylist Express right on down. Now the reason why I really focused on the back section too to bring it down is because she had that 12-week grow out. So this is what's going to help lift and brighten those areas that we didn't highlight. But I'm not so worried about it getting my blonde super dark. I do want a little bit of a shadow root and just kind of bringing and dragging that color a little down further. So I'm going to go ahead and finish applying my 10A Demi permanent formula throughout her entire head. Now, something to note that I didn't mention before is I did leave out her entire money piece. So that entire front section, it does not have any Studio Stylist Express on it whatsoever yet. I'm actually going to leave that for the very, very end to process at the exact same time, because that's the area that she wants it to look a lot more blonde. So I'm just tapping it in about a half an inch, maybe a quarter inch, half inch. And as soon as I get that root tap on that money piece, I'm immediately applying my 10A to the mids and ends for the money piece. Now the timer did start as soon as I was done applying the entire back section. So at this point, I probably have about 10-15 minutes max left on my timer for this to finish processing, but I'm pretty sure I only left this on for 10 minutes as soon as I was done with this money piece, because I don't want a ton of deposit. I just wanted that nice sheer tone for the added brightness in the front. Once she was all done, I shampooed her out, finished her up with a K18 treatment, and gave her some gorgeous curls. Now, it was getting really late at this point. The sun was going down, so I was trying to hurry up and add some really quick curls so I can get a gorgeous after shot for you. And here's the final result of my go-to full highlight technique, complete with some hairline highlights and a little subtle face frame money piece with a shadow root and brace break all at once. And just to give you a recap, I use Kenra Professional Everything for this look, Beyond Bond Lightener, 20 volume developer, and then for her final glaze, we use Studio Stylist Express, 7A, 8N with 20 volume, and then blended that into 10A in Demi permanent, 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer. So I really hoped you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and comment down below with any questions you may have about this technique, formula, or anything about highlighting whatsoever. Or if you have some suggestions on other type of tutorials or videos you would love to see from me, jot them down below. Remember, you can always find me on my other social channels like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all under Morella Manelli, where I show micro content very similar to the videos here that you see on YouTube. If you love listening to podcasts, be sure to check me out on Airbnb Podcast. It's available on all streaming platforms, and it's a podcast about hair, beauty, and business. And if you want free educational blogs and content sent right to your inbox, or just to be informed about any of the educational courses that I offer, be sure to head on over to morellamanelli.com and sign up for my newsletter. And I'm also really excited to announce that I just launched Beyond the Chair Mastermind. It's a group coaching community for hairstylists where it can help you elevate your beauty biz through the art of creative social media marketing, learning about brand partnerships, social media monetization, and so much more. I'm literally spilling all my secrets on how I've been able to grow each of my social media channels here on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and also my blogs and website. I'm literally spilling all of it inside of this mastermind. So if you want to join, be sure to check out the description down below. And finally, be sure to check out my other hair tutorials right here on this channel, and don't be shy, make sure you share them with a friend, and I will see you in the next video.